Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Alisa Murray's Martini Talks. And tonight, I'd like to talk about friendship. All the stuff that's been going on lately with all this COVID and all these different things that we've had to all deal with has really brought it to my attention, the importance of friendship. I wrote about it in my column for June, and oddly enough, this year I've been talking about Aristotle's virtues. And boy, I tell you what, friendship is just so important, isn't it? It's important right now because at the end of the day, when everybody else is all gone, it's the friends that we need to lean on, to help us, to give us the strength, to help us find the hope in every single day, especially when we're by ourselves and we're all staying at home and trying to stay safe. It makes me think about going back through time with all the different friends that I've had. And oddly enough, too, during this time, I've reconnected with friends that I haven't seen or talked to in 30 years. It's been wonderful. It's been strange. It's been cool. It's been uncanny. It's been interesting because as I examine each of my friendships with people who I've known for years and people who I've met just a few years ago, there's a bond there. There's a special bond there that is hard to describe. And Aristotle does a very good job at explaining what friendships are about and how friendships are formed and what makes them last. And so one of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight, first time in for Martini Talks, and cheers to you. Pour yourself one as well. I'm going to have a sip. That's good. It's really good. Tito's. Is that honestly, when you think about it, we have three different types of friends. We have a friend that we meet, and for some of us, we don't know why that friendship is just there for a passing moment. In studying Aristotle, I now realize that a reason why that happens is because people meet each other and they have a common bond for something that needs to take place. For example, if you were seeing me for photography, for example, and you have gotten pregnant and you need a maternity photo and you need a newborn photo, you might call me and we become friends and you come in and see me and I take pictures of your children, but then you go away. You don't stay. You're not with me for the lifetime of the child. And in that instance, we're friends for a short period of time because the commonality of that friendship is that you just needed me to take care of that one thing that you needed for the moment, i.e. photography of your baby. Then there's other friendships that are about things that have to do with a little bit longer, like your baseball team or your cheerleading team or your dance team, or maybe it's your book club if you're older, or your bridge club if you're even older than that. But you know, those friendships, some of them last and form for a long time, but a lot of times they're around for 5, 7, maybe even 10 years, and then they're gone. Friends move away, they don't stay in touch, they're not in each other's lives at all. So the commonality of that one thing, that subject that they shared with you, is no longer there in your life. And so for that reason, the friendship just sort of fades away, which is sad. Especially if you've made friends with people who you really love and you shared things like raising children together, and then they're gone. They're gone. And then there's the friendships that are about colleagues that have to do with things that you have a bond based on a common interest that's going to be with you throughout your lifetime. And those are like your professors who are studying the same thing, or scientists that are searching each and every day for the goal of the answer to whatever you're studying, whatever you've made your life and dedicated your life to study. Fellow artists, people who are with the same interests as you over the long haul. And so that is a long-term friendship. That's a friendship that has to do with something that's common together, that you've basically bonded in a way that hold you together based on something that you both see as your life's work. And I have a lot of friends like that. I have a lot of friends that we both have been mothering together for years. We've gone through babies together. We've gone through teenagers together. We've helped each other through good times, bad times. We've talked about things that we didn't have any idea what we were doing in terms of breastfeeding and, you know, all of the things that happen to the mom. And then there are the friendships that are between husbands and wives. And those bonds are stronger. Those bonds are definitely stronger because not only are you sharing the responsibility of a commonality and a common goal in life together, but hopefully in good marriages you grow together in a way that your interests, as the children go off to school and make their own lives, they actually, you find yourself with your spouse truly closer than you even were before when you got married. And that's one of the wonderful things about being married. That is just, it's so lovely to be married to someone who's your friend. You know, Brian and I, we rode the first grade school bus together. And we grew up in the same small town in North Carolina, and we had the same backgrounds basically. He was Methodist and I was Baptist, so there was no conversation about God or Jesus or any of that stuff. We were both raised in the same type of political background, so there was no arguing over that. And I really feel like what makes a marriage is the ability to negotiate, to know when to fight, to know when not to fight, to know what's right and what's wrong together, to be able to parent children successfully and help them become the adults that they're meant to be. But at the end of the day, when the children are gone, I know that I'm married to my best friend, the person who has listened to me when I was in second grade, when my mom got killed, the person who was on the phone with me when I was lamenting about some boy that I'd gone out with that, you know, he was friends with and I didn't like and was mad at him about something, you know, someone who's there for everything. And most of the time, someone who's there that doesn't have a judgmental voice, who has a supportive, helpful, wonderful way of making you feel good, even in the darkest of times. Recently, Brian and I went through a situation where we didn't know how I was going to end up. I had, you know, we've got a family history of heart disease, and a lot of people in our family have literally dropped dead. And my brother's been sick, and my uncle's been sick, and my father as well. But I went in to see the doctor back in December, and my goodness, I had some stents put in, and you know, when I came out of that stent surgery, the doctor came out and said, "Oh my goodness, you've had multiple heart attacks. We never even knew you'd had." And I thought, me? How could I have had multiple heart attacks? I thought there was this traditional thing, some bang on your head that was going to make you know that you were having a heart attack. But for me, it wasn't the case. I didn't even know. And then when they went back in to do a second stent surgery on Valentine's Day, I almost died. And that was on the very cusp of all this COVID stuff that's been going on. And, you know, when you get that close to almost dying, when you have a blood pressure of 30 and your spouse looks at you and says, "Oh my God," and you know that that might be the last time you see somebody that you've been with forever, 30 years this year, it changes the way you see things. It changes the way you see the world. And then on top of that, to have COVID come in and have all of our lives disrupted. You know, babies not coming to see me for photos, people not going on vacations to travel, people afraid to go look at houses, afraid to touch each other. And y'all know I'm a big old hugger. Afraid to just be together has been so strange for me. I'm a very big extrovert, as you guys know, and it's just been wild to not have children running into the house every day and big hugs and kisses for their Auntie A. And it's been giving me a lot of time to have a lot of retrospect about my life. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do this YouTube channel, I wanted to be sure that I documented my feelings about everything, my feelings about my friends, my feelings about my husband, my feelings about my children, my feelings about the world and God and love and hope and faith is brought forward in a huge way by having the opportunity to stop and think about just life in a way that we've never really been able to do before. Because you see, for 22 years, pretty much 7 days a week, I've gone nonstop. And I think the reason why I didn't know I'd had heart attacks is because I've done nothing but work and go nonstop. And I love what I do. And if I didn't love what I do, I would never be doing it. But because I love what I do, I never stop what I'm doing. To stop and think, to stop and smell the roses, to stop and plant a garden. And this year has really been, in many ways, the special year. I turned 50 in February, not long after that second stent surgery, and I spent most of the day in bed. But the reality is that given the opportunity to find what is your purpose, to find what is right, is truly living your sweet life. And giving yourself the opportunity to reconnect with old friends, find the commonalities of things that you have forgotten, to connect with your spouse, to connect with your children. James and I had our first chess game on Mother's Day, just yesterday. And tomorrow will be my mother's 74th birthday. She got killed at 31, and I've lived many, many years without my mother. Mother's Day has always been bittersweet for me because of that. All the children at school and all the children at church had their mothers, and I didn't have one. And so it made me realize early on the importance of photography, the importance of a lasting memory of those that we love, because truly in the end, when we're all gone, it's the photography that lasts. It's the memories that last and those that are left behind. And the time that we have together is the time that we need to share. We all need to take a moment and really hone in on who our friends are, find those commonalities that may have been lost over the years, figure out who we are, figure out what our purposes are, come together with our faith and our hope, and know that all of us can be better than what we were before all this started, and we all have a gift to share. And for me, my gift is in not only the photography and helping people and serving people, but also in making sure that the things that I know, like the recipes from my grandmothers, the stories from my sweet life, my columns over the past 15 years, everything that I've done with cancer and with kids' cancer and giving back to the community here in Houston, all has made a difference. But documenting that, making sure that there's something there for future generations to see is important. And for me, making sure that I let everyone know, if it's only for my own family and my dear, dear friends, that living your sweet life, finding your purpose, finding your dream, honing in on that goal, not letting up, not letting tomorrow be just like it was yesterday. Live in the moment. Let today be a lesson with all that we've had to go through over the past several months. Be the starting point for a future of living your sweet life. It's Martini Talks with Alisa Murray. Have a good evening.